she just brings that, that light that I can't bring.
He kind of makes me more logical and more motivated. You're listening to Opposites Attract with J&T. Stay tuned for...
We'll spend another $10,000 to live in a prison cell. You'd wake up and there's like some chick crawling upside down.
Oh yeah, we called the call center guy today.
Why don't I want to curse? Because we're in a church. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
High vibe.
Okay.
No promises, though.
Yeah.
Sorry to everyone out there.
Well, I don't think the little kid is going to be driving on the way to work. They said, fuck, Mom.
That's deep. You're right.
We'll avoid it. It'll be a passionate curse.
That's true. So, hey, guys. Welcome to the first episode of Opposites Attract with J&T. I'm Taylor.
And I'm Taylor, too. She meant to say James.
Yeah, that's true. I did.
No, you didn't.
No, I didn't.
So we kind of wanted to talk about stuff that, I don't know, like a 19-year-old would like to listen about.
Or any age, actually.
Yeah. Right? Because like when you're older, you kind of just want to go back to youth, though.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
I mean, that's how I imagine myself. 50.
Yeah, at 50 years old.
Oh, opposites attract. So let's pull this up.
That's true.
So the first thing that comes to mind when you're 19 years old is, where you're living. And a lot of 19-year-olds be like, yeah, I'm with my parents. Kind of, does it suck? And that's what we're going to be answering.
Mm-hmm. And...
No, it doesn't suck for me. Actually, I don't know.
I don't know. Well, I feel like at this age, it's kind of like a gray area. You're either living with your parents, you're living at college, or you have your own apartment. Because I know people that are moving into their own apartments that are already all settled into something like a house on their own. And I know people that are living with their parents still that don't pay rent, that don't have a job. And I know people that are living in the towns of their college with their roommates and are just living in the dorms. So
one thing that I feel like getting kicked in your ass when you're 18, just getting kicked out, even before, it kind of really just slaps you in your face and you really need to figure out life. So I think that's the difference. So, I mean, being 19, living with your parents, you still kind of feel like this cushion. You kind of feel like there's no need to wake up at 6 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to do your thing. So I guess that's nice. But, man, I just can't imagine being 18 years old and not watching my SpongeBob TV shows in the morning at 10. Yeah, I just couldn't. Just kidding. I don't do that.
Yeah, he doesn't do that. He's far from doing that, actually, which I'm thankful for. Thank goodness.
It's less of an initiative, You have to put on. You have your choice. You could put responsibility, or you can take it away when you're living with your parents. It's tough. And just going into college. That's another thing. It's, do you live with your parents or do you go?
And I moved out at the end of the year before the end actually came because I hated it. Sorry to everybody who likes living at college, but I don't.
Why'd you hate it?
Because it was small and I felt like I couldn't spread out. I couldn't be my own person. I didn't really like living at. Maybe it's because
that's kind of weird because that's why people move into a dorm. They want to get that full high school, college experience.
That was my reasoning. I was like, you know what? I want to get the full college experience. And I don't regret it because I'm glad I did because I met my roommate, Megan, and she's great and I love her so much. So I'm really glad that ended up working out. But so now we're friends. So I met a friend and met some friends at school because of it. However, I feel like it kind of took a toll on me. I was like, I really just didn't like it. There's something about it. I felt like I was confined and I didn't get to
in the room.
Well, just not even in the room, just in call. Like I didn't get to leave. I just had to be there. And the thing is that I live in the same town. Like my family lives in the same town as my college, so I don't have to be living at the dorms. It was kind of a choice, but then some people have to live at the dorms in order to go to college. So
yeah, my experience was I would just drive 30 minutes out to my university, and I kind of liked it. I mean, when you're in college, you always want to be pushing yourself. And I feel like staying in the dorms, I feel like right after class, I would just go take a nap or a shot.
Yeah, it's weird because, like, you don't have a lot of space to, like, do homework. So you have to either I did homework in my bed, and luckily I can do that, but a lot of people can't. So you have a desk, but then you feel kind of confined, and then you have the library, but it's really quiet. And then you have the coffee shops, but everybody's at the coffee shops.
Were there any like those weird moments you'd wake up and there's like some chick crawling upside down? No.
What movie have you watched?
This is real life, man.
Wait, what are you talking about?
I mean, is there anything like exciting about living in the dorms? Like, was it just all one big waste?
No, I mean, what I did like about it, well, I guess my school is not a very much party school. I feel like when you have party schools, it's a lot more fun to live in the dorms because people party in the dorms, but we weren't allowed to do that. So nobody partied in the dorms, and the only parties we had were on off-campus housing. And I never actually went to a college party.
No, you got to say the opposite. You got to say you've had parties with the professors. And
if only that'd be
we did
freaking
lines.
wild.
Just kidding.
Holy shit!
My mom doesn't know what line is, which is a good thing because she's probably tuning in.
Hi, Natasha.
Don't say her name.
I will if I want to.
She's a
I
spy.
said Megan's name already.
Well, that's an alias.
Okay, fine, whatever.
Anyways,
what was I saying?
The college dorm. What was exciting about it? That's what you were talking about.
Oh, yeah. What was exciting is that I met people that I really liked there and that I vibe with, at least mostly. And so that I got some friends out of it, which was kind of nice. And then it was kind of a good, at first it was nice because it was a sense of community. Like I felt like there's people there, but then after a while I got so annoyed because there's always people around and you could never walk around without your pants on, you know, you could never you always had to wear a bra. You always had to.
I feel that. I washed my hands naked this morning.
See, that you can't do that when you live in the dorms because you share a bathroom with 20 bajillion other people and you have to wear shoes in the shower and you have to, it's really not very glamorous. And it's that's why people move out of the dorms, and that's why I moved out of the dorms, and people say oh, I'm just going to move out and live with my friends on a house on campus.
I totally agree with that.
Works.
It is not glamorous at all. Because they really, I don't want to say they abuse, they don't really update the dorms, the universities don't. So you kind of go in there and it's just this confined cell, and you always find it trashed. You always find some weird, food sitting in the corner that is creating its own species of bacteria.
Okay, it wasn't that bad.
That were my experiences. I never did live in a dorm, but the dorms that I were in, except there was this dorm that this guy had his closet and he had every single Jordan you could ever think about in his room. Yeah, his shoe collection probably was worth more than that his whole level probably. But
damn, how do you even find room for that? I literally had room.
Yeah, that's the thing.
2 sweaters and a pair of shoes, and that's it. It's like a shoe box. You have no room.
You just used a wall.
After I moved out, my roommate used the rest of my closet because she we didn't have room for anything.
Yeah.
I left a lot of my clothes at home because I couldn't fit it all. That's what I really like about living at home is that I have more space. But even still, I feel like I'm outgrowing my space. So now I'm okay, when do I get to move out on my own? You know, and that's the thing that I feel as you get older. Living with your parents is a lot harder because you don't have as much of your own space anymore.
But you have food.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jesus, dude. Every time I go back home, I just make my fat salads and just eat. And then, before leaving, everyone would complain. They're like, man, I don't have food. And, they're just always just drinking Red Bull or vodka, whatever it is.
What?
Yeah, I mean, that's another thing. Teenagers can't shop. Have you ever, you've been in a dorm.
Yeah.
Dude, they will buy chips and, like I said, Red Bulls and that's it.
It's super hard to eat healthy when you're in the dorms, and when you have on-campus food, you can't eat very healthy. Because I started doing healthy eating while I was living in the dorms, and you have a meal plan that you have to go to, and they serve unhealthy food most of the time, and when you do have healthy food, it's not very good, and it's you can never really take control of what you want to eat. So that's what I really like about living at home is that you kind of get to eat whatever you want.
Was the food ever elementary school food or high school food?
No. It's never that bad. It's always actually, it's good quality. It's good, okay, that's the thing. It's for what we're paying, you would expect it to be more quality than it was, but it was better than high school or elementary school.
I actually did experience some college food. My friend, he had an unlimited food pass, and he would bring 6 plates out. So he'd bring the two plates out, as much as he could handle, and then he had it full of food. and he would just bring it out on the outside of the cafeteria because we just had this little like seating area, and then he would go back in, and then he would go get more, and then he would go back in and go get more.
Jeez.
And like we would always have to hide. We always pretend that we're not with him, and he would just sit with like 6 plates, and then we'd all eat up and then go get dessert. Well, he would go get dessert.
Damn.
Yeah.
See, at my college, they were like, you can't bring food outside of the cafeteria. And so we'd have to eat.
Yeah, it's because people are stealing it.
Yeah, people were stealing it. Me and my friends would like steal bananas all the time and apples and all these things and just take them out. We'd have to, for a while they didn't care. And then after a while they would stop you and say like, you need to like make sure you have it inside the cafeteria and not take it. And I'm like, well, it's going to be eaten anyway, no matter if I take it or not. So might as well just let me take it, Didn't make any sense.
No, lunch ladies, they just want to ruin your life.
No, the lunch ladies were so nice to me. Or like the people that...
Yeah.
They were really nice compared to the lunch ladies that we used to have at school.
Do you ever know any of their names?
No. Do you?
I want to make up a name just so I can say I did.
You know what? Somebody actually... One of our lunch ladies, I think it was from high school, babe, came up to me. I don't remember her name, but she's like, "Oh my gosh, do you remember me from? I was one of the lunch ladies at your school. You remember?" And
high school?
Yeah, talking to me. And
she knew you.
She knew me, and I was like, "She's
Did you
Russian."
ever get lunch?
She's Russian.
You know what? I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, "What?" Like I was like,
she never let me get an extra milk, so screw her.
Well, I mean, limited resources, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, but speaking of school lunches, kids eat school lunches. That's how I'm moving on to the next topic.
Wow. What a segue, babe. You're doing great.
Yeah. But
kind of like, I guess kind of under the same realm, like, well, kind of touching back, living with your parents is actually really nice.
You know what? For one thing, I will have to say, you got to make what you can out of that situation.
Yeah.
So, I don't know about living with home. I don't know. But with college, for sure, one thing I do know is the people who always complain about it is people who didn't really make the best out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Or people who made the worst out of it. There will be those people who will be running around and doing the stupidest thing and making enemies everywhere and, just getting like those bad vibes everywhere. I don't know if that made any sense. No?
Well, yeah, I mean, how do you make enemies? What do you mean?
I don't know. Well, with living at home, I liked it the best because I made good with it. I mean, I'd go to school and I would enjoy the time I had at school and I would enjoy the ride there and back. Like I would figure out what I wanted to do while I'm driving, if I was listening to a podcast, which it was.
And you should listen to our podcast while you're commuting too, by the way.
Yeah. Or you can just be alone in your room listening to the podcast.
Yeah, either way.
Shameless plug.
Yes. Continue.
Yeah, so just making the best of it. That's all I could really recommend to anyone who's like, should I live at home? Should I live at the dorms? Well, if you could afford living at the dorms, do it. Why not?
Yeah.
But as long as you make the best out of it.
Yeah. And I think what's cool is that you always have at least me, luckily I had the choice if I wanted to live at home or the dorms, and I got to experience both. And I mean, that doesn't mean I definitely don't want to go back to the dorms, but I might live with my friends 1 year or buy my own apartment 1 year. So I guess it's kind of up in the air. I think we always assume that if you're going away to college that you have to live in the dorms, but sometimes there's cases like us where we both live at home and commute, and it's just fine. I think
it's cool though. You feel like you don't live in your own city.
Yeah.
Yeah, because on campus you kind of feel like you get stuck there. Mm-hmm. Like you feel like just going out into the city that's near you is like going to like Las Vegas. It's just so much fun. You're like, yes.
Yes, I get my own. Yeah, it's kind of nice because you get to kind of. It's like a whole new world over there, I guess, is kind of... Yeah. You kind of check out of the original place that you're in, like the friends you have in a specific area, and you go to college and you have completely different friends. You have a completely different atmosphere, completely different life, and it's like kind of cool like to have that separation. I think that's what I like most about it, is that you have a separation from your like everyday like life, like living with your family and stuff, and school. Like I guess I always liked, because like when in high school you never want to live on campus and go to school, and like that's the same thing that I felt always. I mean, that doesn't mean that living at home is all glamorous either, though. There's definitely...
I liked it. I liked it so much because I felt like I didn't have a school life. I mean, I felt like I had a school life and I had a home life. I had a friend's life. Like I had a life. outside of school, when you're living on the dorms, I'm assuming you have friends on the campus, and you go to school on campus just like everyone else does. But you also live on the campus. You also eat on the campus. You work out on the campus.
You're literally everything is on campus.
Yeah, that's why it feels like anytime you leave the campus, it's like you're going to a whole like new city that's lit.
You're like escaping. And
yeah,
that's what I think. It gets really claustrophobic really fast if you're not careful. Like if you're not the type of person that likes to be completely engulfed in something, like me, I definitely like my space and like having separation in my life with different things, i.e., college. It's definitely hard to live on campus if you're like me, but.
And if you're like me, kind of, I don't even say introverted, but
No.
I got the best out of college when I was there on the dorms.
When you were...
Yeah, just in the dorms talking to the people, and then I would just go home, you know? I don't really care for living in the dorms. Plus, I'm pretty sure there was a dark side, and that was, like, you had to get drunk with all your friends when they would drink. I mean, that's not really the dark side for some people.
Some people like it.
Like, yeah, okay.
But I guess when you don't have a nightlife kind of thing, like at my college, where like it's a Christian college, so we don't really party unless it's like kind of under the table. You're not supposed to cohab, or you're not supposed to. There's a lot of rules with the dorms, so you don't really get to experience like the traditional college like partying in the dorms and tearing it up and loud music kind of thing. It was never like that. It never. I don't think it really will not be like that.
Some people. I didn't know this, but some people go to college just to party.
It's
ridiculous.
That
is one expensive ass party.
Yeah, it is
Why?
It's such an expensive party.
Bro, just get a bonfire going and get some bongs and stuff. Like shit, why do you gotta go to college just to party?
I guess
let that be an additive.
It's definitely part of the experience, I would say, but I think it's not everything. Like honestly, I'm going to college for the education, not the parties. But I do want to make friends. So you know, I try. I don't know. I mean, but okay, babe. What are
you gonna do after college?
Me?
Yeah. Are you interested in having children?
Wow.
Is that weird? No, it's not.
No, it's not.
Are you interested in having? I'm gonna double down.
Yeah, of course.
Why? What is it when you're 19 and you look into your future? I mean, how do you see yourself having children? Because we're all selfish bastards.
Truly.
Yeah. I mean, you make yourself a sandwich and some person will ask you to actually have a bite of your sandwich. And you're like...
I'm guilty of this. I'm so sorry.
Fuck you! No. Yeah, imagine having a kid. It's like you can look at your friends and then... I'm assuming this is going to happen to me, but I'm going to look 10 years back when I'm 30, I can't do the math, 29. When I'm 29, I'm going to look back. I'm like, dude, that guy he's a dad?
What?
I mean, yeah. So, geez. For me, I'm just going to ask the question for myself. I want to have children just to like double down with my life.
Just to double down with your life?
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
Commitment.
Okay.
To me, commitment is huge. I think being able to realize that you have responsibilities, or that's not even a responsibility, but if you want to have children, you kind of you can't put something off like this, because going to my high school, there was a lot of rich kids, and you would quickly find out that all these rich kids, their parents are like grandparents. I mean, they look like grandparents, and they're so old. I'm not trying to be 60 and taking my arthritis medicine just to throw a ball with my son.
Yeah,
deep. That's how I feel. I mean, my dad's 40, but I'm 19. What? We had like
my parents are like 55, 56.
I'm sorry, but that's old.
It's old. I mean, it's just.
I mean, they feel young.
They do. They look young and they feel young, but compared, like, I think the age gap is definitely huge. Like, it just in like parenting, I feel like if you're closer in age, it's a little bit easier to understand. Even still, it's not easy to understand your children or like parent them. Or, I mean, I'm assuming I don't have any children of my own yet. So, but just like from experience of being the child in the situation, like I know that like the generational gap is kind of difficult sometimes because they don't understand what the new age is kind of going through as much as like what compared. Weird. And I don't understand what their whole thing is. Kind of like, for example, the weed and like the drug war on drugs.
Okay.
War on drugs. Yeah. Like that, like nowadays weed especially is like kind of like becoming more known as medicinal and more often used recreationally.
Especially in the 3 states that it's legalized.
But even still, my parents and older generation parents are like, no, this is horrible.
Dude,
because they grew up in the war against drugs.
My parents are from Ukraine. So they think you smoke weed, it's like this. You get a syringe and all of a sudden you start doing heroin. Like, I smoked a lot of pot. And I'm like, Mom, why am I not smoking crack right now? Like, that's all I would tell her. She's like, I don't know. Why aren't you? So, yeah, parents. And then you just have to, like, be this weird parent that, like, goes shopping with your child and goes to the movies just to catch on, like, or catch up with in their life.
Yeah.
So, I mean, kids. I mean, I'll have, how many do you want to have? 3? You said 3?
3 or 4.
I want to have 10.
We're not having 10.
Why
Sorry,
not?
because I have to do the birthing. You just get to have fun.
That's
you
not
have
gonna
the
be
you
fun.
have the easy
No,
job.
it's not.
Yes, you do. Well, at least in the beginning, you have the fun job. We both have the fun. Okay. Anyways.
Personally, I think you kind of just go with life.
Well, yeah. I don't mean obviously
You run
that's
with it. You can't
yeah.
make.
Three
can
kids,
make
3 or 4
plans.
kids sounds great, but I mean in theory, it's not always going to be exactly what I think. It could be 2. It could be 1. It could be 7.
This is how dumb 19-year-olds sound. But
We try to plan on your life, and there's just no way you can plan it.
yeah, that's what I was about to say.
There's no way
Thanks
I
for
can
saying
plan
that.
it.
You can plan
You
life,
can plan it if you
but
want.
you can't shit your pants just because like it didn't go perfectly.
Yeah, exactly.
At least I don't know. That's how I'm. Kids.
Kids.
One thing is, you can't just have. This is one thing I'm gonna tell. This is one thing I know. I feel like you have to be. You can't like prepare yourself to be a child. But there's a couple things you want to look for, and I'm gonna say the first.
What do you
thing,
mean, prepare yourself to be a child? What?
to have children?
To have a child.
Yeah, I'm
I was like,
foreign.
to be a
I'm
child.
foreign.
I was like, what?
Yeah, you're making fun of because I speak English bad, huh? You know, like how I speak?
I like it.
Yeah,
You
guys,
speak
I'm foreign. That's
Well,
what
he's
English
from
is
America.
my second language.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Did you get taught Russian first?
Yeah, I wasn't like that
Then why are you bad at Russian but good at English?
because I chose who I wanted. Okay, when you're having, you know what? I want like if there's gonna be a viewer, if someone's gonna listen to this, dude, you hit me up in the DMs and tell me what it is like to have a child. What is like the biggest thing? What within you have to change?
Yeah.
Because I think it's like that one thing that we were talking about is being selfish. You just have to learn how to give.
Mm-hmm.
Like learn how to just, I don't know, I don't want to say materialistic, but just not holding on your possessions so much.
And I think kind of in a relationship too, like when you start getting committed to somebody when you are first married, like I think obviously we're not married yet, but we've been dating for 2 years. So I kind of understand a little bit of what committed to somebody is. I feel like you can't be as selfish as you once were because you have a person that you're committed to now, connected to. And especially when you get married, like I know that we'll be living together, we'll be living our, like building a life together. You have to be considerate of the other person, sometimes almost some before yourself in some certain situations. Obviously, I think it's important that you take care of yourself, but you can't be as selfish as you once were.
You mean take care of yourself? How?
I don't know, like love yourself. You can't really love other people before yourself. Like
Yeah,
you
it's
can't
pretty
give to
easy
your
to love your
children, or you
child.
can't live.
'Cause
Yeah,
he looks like you. You're like,
okay, yeah.
He looks like me. I feel like I don't know where I read that, but I feel like that's why millennial parents love their children. Is because they can take a selfie with him and
Some
look
freaking
good.
BuzzFeed article probably said something.
No, that's not what I was going with.
Oh, well,
It's possible.
it's possible. I don't know. Yeah, I guess not being selfish is like such a huge thing, I think, right now. But that's the thing, though. We're in this period of time, I feel like, at 19, being young, right, like growing and stuff, where you need to be a mixture of selfish and also dedicated to things that, like, for example, like I have a job and I don't really enjoy it. Don't love it.
Like every 19-year-old.
Just every
Yeah.
19-year-old that goes to a minimum wage job. Nobody really loves it, you know. But I know that my selfishness of like wanting to be free from it is not going to get me anywhere I need to be. You know, I have to make money and pay some rent and stuff, and like so I can't just quit my job. I have to be committed to something. And same with like college. Obviously, we know nobody wants to go to college because it takes forever and it's hard. Like I know I'm looking down like 8 years of college if I want to be a psychologist, like a doctor. in psychology, which is going to take forever, but I know that it'll reap the benefits eventually.
You know how I feel like life goes? Like, if you want something in life, your life will kind of prepare you in that way.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, something either bad will happen, or, like, say you're like, I want a bunch of money, and all of a sudden you have to work. Like, I feel like that's how life is going to happen. And,
yeah.
Ooh, dude, I can't imagine what some people go through. Like, what are maybe that's what Eminem, was it Eminem?
Yeah, Eminem.
Did he say, be careful what you wish for?
I don't know. I'm not that good.
He's not Gandhi. We need to find like a very inspirational quote. But it kind of goes with that doctrine of be careful what you wish for.
Yeah, I think
like
it just kind of...
A lot of 19-year-olds speaking, like, for me, like, I could wish for some stupid stuff. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you ever watched Wizards of Waverly Place.
Throwback?
The movie.
Oh, the movie.
I wish you and Dad never met. You don't remember that one?
Yeah, I totally remember that. That was crazy. And then she never had any siblings. They didn't remember her. Her parents were not there, and everything just fell apart. And then it was crazy.
No, it wasn't.
It was.
Mm-mm. Well,
it was crazy.
When I have a kid, I definitely want them to be watching the 2000 Disney era.
Oh, I know.
None of this, like,
it's the best era.
Yeah, dude, Zach, what is it?
Zach and Cody.
Yeah, Zach
Sweet
and
Life
Cody.
of Zach and Cody.
I watched that on Deck Life.
Oh yeah.
Hannah Montana was fantastic.
That's So Raven. Did you like That's So Raven? I love That's So Raven.
I didn't.
SpongeBob. That's Nickelodeon.
I wonder if everyone has, like, if it's like the demographic, how do people understand the inside jokes, or are people on the East Coast also watching SpongeBob when we were the same age? Like,
I think so, because it was just like a TV channel, and like it was streaming to everyone across the United States, not just one side of the. Maybe, yeah, I think so. Because like on Twitter, everybody like. Right now, I think we're in the prime of Twitter because, like, all the age group is kind of the same. Like, we're, like...
Twitter?
Yeah, like, it's, like 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 to, like, 25, 26 or whatever on Twitter. And so we all kind of grew up around, like, the same, like, things. So, like the different TV shows and the music and things when we were kids.
I feel like I'm not on social.
I know. You need to be because... Obviously, if you guys want to get to know us better, you can go do it through socials if you wanted to.
That's something I'll give. That's fine. Like, I'll do it. I'm kind of, like, I've always been interested into it. In fact, that's what I want. That's what I want to do. I want to drop out of college so I could learn how to make a Facebook ad for some business. Yeah, super enlightening.
I keep telling him not to drop out of college. Because I think it's good to get a degree. I feel like there's not a lot of like options in the world anymore if you don't have a degree. Like, unfortunately, like, but then there's people that like don't have a degree but like make multi-million-dollar businesses, and it's totally whatever.
But you're born with that stuff.
But you're born with like the drive and like the creativity to do that, and like some people just aren't.
Work.
Yeah, of course. Well, like I feel like with you, babe, I feel like you're really good at like applying yourself and whatever, and like everything that you do. But I think that just under your belt, it'd be good to have a degree so then you have more legitimacy in the real world, because like you can go around saying, oh, I want to do this and this and this, but nobody's going to really listen to you.
Just because I see people, my mom's, she has these really awesome friends, and I know one of them has a master's in communications, or at least like a bachelor or something, but I think she works at a hotel desk front, and her husband's a cop. That you get stuck. How do you know you're going to get hired?
Yeah, okay, I get that.
To me, that's scary. Yeah. Like, screw living in a dorm. Like, that's not a big decision to make.
Yeah.
Like,
living with your parents, not the world.
$100,000 piece of paper going to get you a job?
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of the real question, isn't it? I think we all I think at least I've always thought about this too. Like, I want to be a doctor, but I'm terrified that I'm not going to get hired. I'm not going to have a job in the meantime. I'm going to be struggling through school. There's a lot of, I think at this age right now, like trying to make decisions of your life.
You want to be a doctor though.
Yeah, I do.
That's versus someone who's just going to go to school for 4 years.
Yeah, but even still, like, babe, if we get married after college, like, I need to have a job to support like our family. Yeah. Our combining and living on our own.
My dad just always says, just get married. You'll figure it out.
You'll figure it out.
Money's the last thing you need to figure out.
See, that's the difference between him and us. Like, we think
hey, he figured it out. He came from Ukraine and just
well, that was freaking wild.
Busted out of his butt.
Yeah, I don't know how he did that.
Well, I don't.
Struggling.
Yeah, struggle. That's all I'm trying to say. He wanted something in life, and life threw some fastballs, and he dodged them.
Yeah.
Or whatever he had to do.
Yeah.
Question is, what in your experiences right now do you feel like you've wished for something, and now you're kind of suffering the consequences of that wish?
Me specifically? Yeah.
No, not the person behind you. Don't look, though.
Oh my God, shut up. Freak me out.
You're trying.
I'm trying not to look. Anyways, I feel like growing. I think I've always wished like I have a more understanding of my life and where I want to be, but even in the middle of like understanding, like I'd say like what I want in life is to be happy and to understand myself and be in love and all this stuff. But it's a lot harder than just those things happening at once. Yeah. Like, so this age is really interesting, I feel like. So even if we're living with parents, like I didn't think I'd be living with my parents right now. I thought I'd be like in the dorm and then moving out on my own and whatever. And right now I don't feel at all prepared to move on to my own apartment or with friends or anything. It's completely different than what I thought. And
I feel like I would have had $250,000 by now.
Yeah. You wish like, oh, I wish to be a so-and-so when I grow up, but you don't realize that like getting there takes a lot longer and a lot more difficult than you think, which is, I think, part of like how we grow into what we're supposed to be and what we're supposed to do. It's just hard sometimes, especially at this age when you're trying to figure it all out.
You know, it's kind of weird.
What?
The age gap from our generation ahead of us and the generation behind us. I feel like we're so different.
I feel like we're really different.
Jesus, I remember going freshman year. I'm like, this guy's got a beard. Like, what's a beard? I had a lot of other questions, but then you're a senior, and then you look at the freshmen that are coming in. You're like, these are actual children.
Yeah,
they're actual, and it's just they're like, what the heck? In our area, they're not just young, but they're like extra smart. Holy cow, they're smart.
Like who? Well, not who, but
I don't know. I just had that. I just had that vibe
that they were smart.
Yeah, and it kind of, I feel like the change, the rapid change in how the different age groups are looking is just based off technology. Mm-hmm. Like, I wonder if they had iPads when they were in elementary school.
Whoa!
And like right after we left, like they had an iPad.
Wait, when did iPads become a thing? Well, iPhones didn't become a thing until middle school.
For a while, but like, did they use them? Because I was doing wood shop in middle school. I don't. Mm-hmm. They used to do. They would work on cars. Like, you would learn how to become a mechanic, not learn how to be a mechanic. Like, you would just learn how to do something on a car. Like, I don't know. What show was I watching? I don't know, moving on.
Moving on.
But dude, do you think the challenges that we face are still similar?
I don't know.
From a 16-year-old to a 19-year-old?
Well, if any of you guys are young out there or older than us, give us some insight, because I don't know. I feel like this period of time right now where you're turning into a 20-something, like a young 20-something, and you're also just like going to college and kind of like taking the step out of childhood into adulthood is so unique compared to like being a child and being an adult. Like, it's just such a weird period of time. So I feel like maybe they'll experience this weirdness too, even if it's different and more advanced with technology. You know?
I feel like technology just takes out different problems or adds problems.
You think so?
Yeah, like being bullied. Well, no, hold up. How about stress? Stress can make you age, like, insanely. And I feel like younger kids have less stress. Maybe that's why they look younger, because my buddy Nick, he's like just turning 16, and everyone's
he
like...
He looks like 25.
Yeah, he's like 6'1". He's got a beard. Everyone's like, yo, this guy, what is with this guy? Well, yeah, let me tell you, this guy had to pay rent at 15, and he grinded a lot. Like, geez. Like,
the stress kind of made him grow up.
Yeah, his stepdad was like, he's not my kid. I'm not paying for him.
Well, yeah.
I'm not parent. No, he would go to his stepson's bosses and tell him, don't hire him.
Yeah. Well, anyways, I don't want to disclose too much information about his life, I guess, without his permission, of course. But
I already have his permission.
You do?
I have his respect.
That's not permission. Anyways. But yeah, I think like even if he is still in high school, he looks like he's a lot older and he holds himself a little bit older than he would be considered. I feel like the stress in your life definitely it does that for you. So maybe I wonder if living with your parents, going back to the beginning topic, actually, like if living with your parents makes it harder for you to grow up, or if it.
Well, I was kind of saying that earlier. I feel like the people in my life that I've heard or talked to, they get kicked out a little bit earlier. Mm-hmm. I feel like 18 was that marker. Like, yep, you're out.
Yeah.
And it's like, I kind of wish that upon myself right now, just figure it out. But it's like I don't want to be like trying to find an apartment that is 2 times more than I'm making or that I possibly could make. Like that is so scary.
Yeah. I think it's like this period of time is like getting kicked into the real world is so terrifying, but everybody keeps telling you it's going to happen. And you're like, oh my God, I'm going to be an adult eventually. I'm going to be doing adult things. I'm going to be doing bills. I'm going to be having my own place. I'm going to have a job. I'm going to do this. And you're like, how am I supposed to do that?
What do you do?
What do you do?
I feel like you can't just go to McDonald's because even McDonald's is like, okay, where's that college? Where are the 2 years at, yo? 2 years? I thought I'm flipping hamburgers.
Yeah.
But you need a communication degree.
To work at
Since when? They say McFlurry, I give McFlurry. 1-2 process.
Yeah.
But dude, I don't know. I feel like, I'm just getting the heebie-jeebies.
It's just I think it's just difficult because it feels like there's so much out there that we have yet to experience, but we're going to college and learning all these things and we're supposed to be taking and applying it to our life. But yet sometimes even when you're living with your parents or when you're trying to plan for your future and you can plan and plan and plan, but you just don't really know until you get there, you know?
Do you have an idea what you would say or what are you going to do yourself?
For what?
To kind of avoid that bitch slap of life.
Being prepared, I guess, in certain ways. Like having a job set up for you, you know, being like keeping a good budget and knowing budgeting your money.
Why hasn't school taught us that?
I don't know. Honestly, we need to riot and we need to talk about this in school.
I learned about Shakespeare, but I didn't know how to
do a mortgage. What is this?
Balance your checkbook even mean?
What does that even mean? There's so many things. So I guess yeah, you can plan for your children that you want to have. You can plan how your career is going to go. You can whatever, but you never really know. And I think that's kind of the beauty of everything, but it's also kind of terrifying.
Mm-hmm. For me, it's going out yourself and taking the initiative to learn something you've never learned or you never thought you had to learn. Because you're going to have to buy a house. Your parents are all of a sudden going to tell you, you get married. I mean, at least in the Russian community, dude, you date a girl for 6 months and all of a sudden grandpa's got a finger at your butthole telling you to get married. What the hell? And not only you have to get married, especially the religious, like my grandpa to get baptized, you can't get married.
You can't get married if you're not baptized. You can't. Yeah. It's definitely interesting. We've been dating for 2 years. I think I said that already, but so you definitely feel the pressure.
My dad is not like that conservative. He's religious, but he's not conservative.
Yeah.
But still, he has a grip.
He's like, when are you guys going to get married? When are you going to whatever? And you're like, we haven't figured anything out yet.
We had one wedding that we went through, and then all of a sudden we had a whole line of people that when are you going to get married? When are you going to get married?
When are you going to get married? Because our friends got married this past June.
2 weeks ago.
3.
2.
Was it 2?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. 2 weeks ago they got married, and they're our age too. So they're in the Russian. They're Russian as well. So, well, I'm not Russian. James's family is Russian.
Speak Russian.
I'm learning. I'm trying. And, so we definitely feel the pressure from everybody like, oh, when is it going to be your guys' turn, you know? And we're like, we need to figure out our life a little bit more,
hopefully it wakes us up. That's every teenager's going to have to go through that. Just this brick wall that they hit.
Yeah.
Like, oh, my God. You can't keep doing what you're doing, like, over and over. You're going to have to change.
Yeah, it's like eventually I'm going to have to move out of my parents' house. I'm going to have to plan for my job and for where I'm going to live and make sure I can pay the bills and make sure I can do this. And it's like, that's a lot of responsibility. And it's like, it feels really nice to be in this kind of cushiony bubble where you don't really have to experience all this like stuff. You know, you can just kind of.
But you still can't see what's outside of life.
Yeah. That's the problem.
Like we're still in a bubble, and we're just looking through this bubble. And like, oh yeah, I guess we do have to pay bills sometime.
Someday, not right now though.
Yeah.
Luckily, we don't have to. I don't have to pay for my college either, so that's really nice. You know, like we're really lucky in that way. At least for now, we're still kind of children in a way, but it's weird because our mindsets are changing into adulthood. It's just not our actions.
What do you think happened to that guy that we called the cops on today?
Oh, yeah, we called the cops on a guy today. He started a fire.
He started a fire. Not like the ones in the clubs, but like this guy just was standing there with lighter fluid, just spinning in circles,
spraying it on
starting a fire.
The grass, and so we called the cops, and it was really interesting. I wonder if he got like arrested or something.
He was almost. I don't know what to say. I don't know. But that's not the first time I called the cops. You call the cops, and that's something you're gonna do when you grow up.
Yeah, calling cops. Never have called the cops before. Well, no, yeah, I've never called the cops before.
That was the first time I called the cops. This dude was driving around this store and just driving around not the curbs but the sidewalks.
Yeah, we were together.
That's a good representation of life. Do I go this way?
Running over the curbs and trying to find the right path.
He was drunk. He was drunk, dude. This guy had his head like sticking out the window pretty much with his tongue out. He looked dead.
Yeah, that was kind of weird. You're doing life right if you're drunk, head out the window, driving over all the curbs. You know you're doing
Let's
it right.
have him on the podcast and ask him.
We need some advice from him.
Yeah, and the guy who started the fire.
Yeah.
We're going to have a whole playlist for this. The guys who we called 911 on.
All right. Well, I think that's about all that we've got time for today.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening, you guys, and for listening to our first podcast. And you can find us anywhere podcasts are available. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, Stitcher.
Biggest thing, you guys, we want to hear what you think. I mean, we were like, hey, podcast, let's just talk to each other because we just... So we were like, hey, might as well just post it. So since we are posting it, we want to cater to you.
Yeah.
To see
we
how
want to
you
interact
like
with the audience here.
Yeah. So that's why we want you to add us on the socials if you want to say something about it.
Yeah. Have any advice, things that you don't like or do like. You can
and
find
talking
us on
points.
Talking points, ideas that you want us to talk about, anything.
Because that'd be so cool, just knowing what the rest of the world
wants to hear.
Yeah. What are they going through? And
so you can kind of figure out life with us as we kind of go on this journey. So you can find us on Facebook, Opposites Attract with J&T. On Instagram, Opposites Attract Podcast. Yeah. And then Twitter, I think is, just look up Opposites Attract with J&T.
How do you spell it? I can't spell because I'm foreign.
What?
Is it OPPOSITE?
S. Opposites Attract. So yeah, thanks for listening.
Thanks for tuning in, guys.
We'll see you next time, next week.
Okay, bada boom, bada boom.